Bumblebees are creatures that we cannot truly completely explain how they fly. Based on the aerodynamic rules that we know, we're not quite sure exactly how they do it. The fact is, though, that a bumblebee can fly not only forwards or sideways, but can also fly backwards. In fact, bumblebees have been found flying as high as Mount Everest, right, going to the top. Why am I sharing this with you? Because there is a difference when you live your life by magic or by logic. When you live your life by logic, just like I did, you're triple checking, double checking, making sure you can figure out every single step before you even say yes. You're not moving with the speed of spirit. You are basically confined by the old of what you already know. What do you have experience for? What has been proven in the past? You are looking for safety. This is a fear-based approach, as opposed to an approach that trusts that life is looking out for you. A magic-based approach is an approach that knows that life is not happening by you. So you don't have to figure out every single thing and be the general manager of the whole universe, but life is happening through you. And just like everyone else, no one wakes up thinking, how am I going to breathe today? How is my heart going to beat today? How am I going to remain upright as I walk? There's so many functions in your beautiful gift of a body that you pay no attention to because you know magically it's going to work. So what's the difference between that and other things? Why do you put up so much resistance when it comes to receiving love or money or joy or opportunities when there is absolutely none in one of the most miraculous functioning machines or gifts or systems that we as humans have? So this is my question for you. How did a young woman from Nigeria make up her mind she was going to work in a large cosmetics firm? How did she get into the biggest cosmetics company in the world in France? French was her second language, without even having to send out a CV. Magic. That young lady was me. I was going on interviews. I was going on interviews for one of those management consultancy roles where you get trained, management trainee roles. And I just left university. And honestly, I had no business going for those roles because it really wasn't where my heart was. However, my left brain thought it was a good idea. You'd get good experience. It's a well-paid job. There is recognition. So why not? On one of those interviews, I met this beautiful, kind lady called Maria. Maria was just so incredible. And we started talking, and she says, "Oh, um, I said to her, my boyfriend at the time was, from France, and he was going back to France." And she goes, "Oh, how come you're not going?" I said, "Well, I don't speak the language, and I want to get some more experience here." And she goes, "Well, there is an MBA in France." I'm like, "Really?" And I said, "Well, I don't speak French." And she goes, "Well, MBA is in English." And I thought, "Oh, would you be so kind as to share the details with me?" And she did. And that one gesture of kindness out of nowhere. This is a woman who was actually going to the same job interview as I was, changed my life. I wrote to the MBA school. They came back and said, yes, you're totally accepted. And 7 companies are interested in working with you. One of those companies happened to be the company I worked for. I didn't take up the offer that year. I decided I wanted to learn French before I went into the working world. They saved my spot. What happened then was that company that was very interested in my CV decided they were going to give an opportunity to 4 people to actually work on a project for them for 9 months. There were 8 of us who went for the interview, 4 of us were chosen. I was one of the 4. During those 9 months, I worked with 3 other students. They were men. One of them was an engineer, one of them was business school, one of them was, I would say, maths. He was super clever. And we then did a presentation for the company. At the end of that presentation, I recall, like it was yesterday, one of the managers who had come to listen to us said, "I'm extremely disappointed. That's not an MBA level presentation. This is not at all what I was expecting." Ouch. I recall actually agreeing with her and not arguing. And when she then asked, what did I think about her feedback? I said, you know what? I appreciate your feedback. It's good that we hear this now as opposed to some other time. They said, okay, we're going to give everybody a moment. We're going to tell you whether or not we're going to be working with you. So the boy said, ladies first. I stayed, and they said, we'd love to work with you. I was the only one who was chosen to work with this big company. I went on to do an internship. At the end of the internship, I was invited to work in a full-time position. That is how, in the most incredible, magical way, I got a job working with the biggest cosmetics company in the world without me having to apply. These magical moments happen over and over and over again. I can tell you that when I got serious about actually manifesting, attracting, meeting, recognizing my soulmate, I did a walking meditation. And in 2 weeks, within 2 weeks of that, someone came to me and said, we want to introduce you to him. At the time, my saboteurs were rife. I ran away. I didn't really connect the 2 events, to be honest. 2 years later, however, totally blessed, we connected, and today we are married. There was a time that I would travel Emirates business class, and I would always, always, always be upgraded. It was such an incredible, like, people were thinking, how do you do it? So what I'm saying is, the things that you may not be able to explain, the things that you may not be able to see exactly how you're going to gift yourself those things or how you're going to achieve those things. But stop limiting yourself to what you have produced up until now. It's essential that you decide that if you truly want it, if you truly desire it, you're going to step into the magic of believing it is already yours without any evidence that it is. And it doesn't mean it's illogical. And this is where it gets interesting. Logic and magic meet. Even things that you may not be able to explain are totally logical when it comes to the laws of creation. But you don't need to be able to explain it for it to work. Many of us have no idea how our bodies work, but they work. So the fact that you may not understand it or have all the details does not in any way discount how logical it may be. So my invitation is this: to allow the intelligence of your mind, your logic, bow to the wisdom of your heart and your soul, your magic. Always bring your magic, always bring your essence to the table, because this is what makes the big difference. And the more you step into allowing life flow through you, as opposed to having to have life on your shoulders, thinking life is by you, the more open you are to the new, to innovation, to the magical. Otherwise, you're always limited to what you knew already, which may not be working for you. So I invite you, when it comes to magic versus logic, choose to be open to the magical. Choose to trust that you do not need to know all the details. You don't have to be in control of everything for it to be absolutely possible for you. Step into the humility and the openness of actually saying, yes, I can. I cannot wait to hear what you're saying. What are examples in your life where you have actually found that you have just experienced the most incredible miracles? Love and light to you. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about this.